All right, hey guys, back with another stream movie review for the newest Paul Thomas Anderson film. Goes by the title of One Battle After Another. Directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Teyana Taylor, Chase Infiniti, Regina Hall, Sean Penn, and several others. Bob Ferguson, a washed up revolutionary who lives in a state of stone paranoia, goes off the grid with his spirited and self-reliant daughter Willa Ferguson when his evil nemesis, played by Sean Penn as Stephen L. Lockjaw, resurfaces and Willa goes missing. The former radical scrambles to find her as both father and daughter and battle the consequences of their past. So yes, we saw in this film that Leonardo DiCaprio, who was doing a lot of things. Like he pretty much knew how to like make up and crafted like massive explosions and bombs, especially with Profitity Beverly Hills, played by Teyana Taylor. They both was pretty much crafting like explosive devices and bombs that was like tearing up cities and tearing up things, and had to help these group of immigrants, who were pretty much coming in from all over the state and over the coming in from the country and over the state, but that pretty much were held captive, not being bought in and welcome in, and trying to escape from their homeland and their home territory, where there's going through a lot of turmoil and going through a lot of chaos there. So they helped these group of like immigrants, migrate into the area, to the country, because they saw that, which of course the American government was like holding them hostage without the proper care, without the proper guidance, awareness, without them kind of like shelter, to really feel like they're welcome, in America. And so, and also, Bob Ferguson, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and of course, Teyana Taylor's character, played as Chase Infiniti. They had a lot of questions because this same government, this same task force was like really against, civilian, like, women's rights. They had a lot of thoughts and questions about like, women who should be having a process of like, abortion and stuff. So they talked about that in the film. But what the things that I really like about in this film was the one, of course, we all talk about the pacing. Oh, hey, Ultra players, hey, how's it going? Plays, how's it going? But yeah, one of many things that I really like about this film, I'm doing all right. The one of many things, where do I begin about this film? Number one, it is very, very gritty. It is very, very absolute excellent pacing. It starts out very, very dramatic and very ongoing from the very beginning, especially when you saw Profitity, where you see her evolve with being this revolutionary and being like another unstoppable force on her own, and trying to solve, the migration, trying to solve along with her people. And Wood Harris also was a big major factor because he was one of the main players. Try to solve this whole like, immigration and migration problem in the very beginning. And it picks up from there, and it starts to really, really tackle and pick up from there. Just the story and the connective beats. And it also entails of, after like 30 years, remaining off the grid, Bob Ferguson's character, Leonardo DiCaprio, he kind of been off the grid for a while, has a 16-year-old daughter, and he's trying to, let her experience the world, and him, kind of just sit and lay back and lay low, and be high, to be more comforting for a while, not trying to be seen and not trying to be located, not trying to be tracked down. And obviously that didn't go to his in it kind of plan to kind of change his identity, change his name, change his identity, get his new clothing and wardrobe, like change everything up, and not be, a part of what they called themselves back then, the French 75. So that is what I gathered in the midst of the film, and him and his daughter, kind of going in a new identity, going low profile. But it turns out because of Stephen Lockjaw, Sean Penn character, as he resurfaces, gathers the military, tracks down, locates them, and tracks down more information to try to track and locate where there possibly could be, so they can find out the truth, because we see a lot of uncomfortable formalities in the past of their actual, of Willa Ferguson's, birthright, who actually is, her real father, that she actually questions. And as, of course, and actually, Willa questions about her mother. How is her mother, because she had never, got a chance to see it, because unfortunately, well, I ain't going to spoil too much about what happens with her. And there's a lot of things that happen with Stephen L. Lockjaw. He goes and try to find himself and who he really is. So yeah, the things that I really like about this movie, one is the storytelling, and two, all the characters, all the casting, from every all the casting down. Fourth, it's very, very spontaneous. It's very passionate. It's very invoking, and it gives a central theme and a central message. Politically driven. Like, you can be on either side, but it's not just like a pick and choose kind of side. It's just one side believes their way of governing and being militant and being militarizing America, and kind of stopping migration, but then at the same time, on the other half of the civilians case, and just in case of the French 75, they believe a different way, using force, whatever is necessary, in order for them to, kind of back then retool, restructure, and go back for their own plan. So that's one thing that I really, really like about this film. Now, were there negatives? I would say, well, were there cons? So the only major con is Leonardo DiCaprio's character as Bob Ferguson. He kind of reminds me a lot of Russell Crowe's character, the dude. I think it's the dude character from The Big Lebowski, and he reminds me of another character that felt like one of those typical bumbling idiot characters that really just everything where he was taught, his interactions with the guy trying to locate course information over the phone, and it kind of just goes into a part where he's just insulting the phone caller, and then not only just that scene that kind of was made it into more of a joke, it made his character into more of a joke, and then there was another scene where he was talking to Benicino Del Toro as Sergio, and he kind of was making a little bit of being a little bit self-indulgent and taking his character at certain points as a joke, and that kind of was it threw me off a little bit at times, but I understood as far as the story and the connective basis of what it meant and where it was going, so it didn't necessarily bother me at all. When we get to the second and third act of the film, and when you really watch it, I advise you to watch this film immediately, on all streaming platforms. I mean, watch this immediately. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you see it, on how exactly his character and why it plays out the way it does play out. Now, my score. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. So the three major things I'll go over. The three major pros is, number one, the pacing, the excellent pacing. Two is the acting, all the casting and the characters. Three, I would say, is the story and the storytelling and the overall subplots. And the only major negative is just certain mannerisms and certain characteristics from Bob Ferguson. But other than that, that's just a small nitpick. Now, my score and my rating, you already know I'm going to give this movie a 4-star rating. I went into this film, didn't expect anything less than what I got. Just the trailers and the marketing, they kind of made it more of an action, but it was just more than action. It was more, all of three. It's like a comedy and adventure film. And that's typically what Paul Thomas Anderson does and makes. He typically makes those kind of, those comedy style films, but mixing with a lot of serious tones and a lot of balancing the scale as far as just connecting the dots and connecting the beats, from movies like Licorice Pizza or serious, more dramatic tones, musical films like Phantom Thread and etc. So that would be my overall rating and my overall score. So yes, an absolutely phenomenal film, and it's definitely, in my opinion, the best film of 2025, hands down. I don't think there's gonna be a film to me that's even gonna come out in a later year that's even gonna come close as far as the quality and as far as the just the storytelling, the characters. There's not a film this year that's even gonna come close to this, in my opinion. So there you have it. That's my thoughts about One Battle After Another. Probably would be one of my last films that I will talk about until we probably get to December, because I got a lot of other material that I want to get off and want to talk about as well. So, but yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching the review, commenting, and also liking and sharing and subscribing. And continue to follow the page for more, not just movie-related content, but also TV show-related content, album-related content, because there's a lot of music that I want to get to talking about as well. So thank you all for watching. I am out of here. Yeah, that's it. Peace.